Every one of you here, every single one of you here is a personal brand. Every single one of you is a personal brand because people know you and they have an idea of who you are. So when you are friends with somebody, they have an idea of what kind of friend you are. If you are going to give a presentation, you have an idea of what kind of presentation you will give. If you're going to pick a project, there is an idea of what kind of work you will do. Your reputation precedes you. जो भी आपने जिंदगी में काम किया, जितनी भी देर किया, there is a certain reputation that actually that because of which there is a personal brand that is built. The only difference between you and me is the number of people who have confidence on you. That's the only difference. It is not the number of people I impact. It is not the number of people you impact. It's the number of people who have an opinion on you. तो एक पर्सनल ब्रांड एक पब्लिक फिगर होता है कि हर इंसान को उनकी जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ टिप्पणी देनी होगी। नहीं वो ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं पहनना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए, यहाँ नहीं जाना चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए, whatever the case may be. And that is for me a personal brand. Personal brand has nothing to do with influence because you also influence people. You influence your friends, you influence your relatives, you influence your family, even your relatives are going to meet you don't. You do influence people. And by that measure, you are a personal brand. So don't think कि क्योंकि मैं इंस्टाग्राम पे, यूट्यूब पे कहीं और कंटेंट नहीं बनाता हूँ, आती हूँ, मैं एक पर्सनल ब्रांड नहीं हूँ. By virtue of living, you are a personal brand. The question is, are you in charge of that communication? You are a brand. So if I ask anybody who knows Aryan, ये Aryan कैसा है, किस तरह का है, they will have a point of view. They will tell me कि आर्यन कैसा है, क्या नहीं है, क्या करता है, क्या नहीं करता है, so on. And that means there is a story about Aryan that is floating in the universe. Question is, does Aryan control that story or not? Does he control that narrative or not? And if he does a good job of that, that is when he's beginning to become a good personal brand or the story of his story. So every single one of you, I believe, should own your story. किसी और को आपके बारे में कभी भी कोई गलतफहमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. They may not agree with what you do, but it cannot be that they don't even know who you are. Because that means you're not doing justice to your story. You have a moral responsibility to share your story. Whatever it is that you're going through, चाहे वो मुश्किलें हो, हार हो, जीत हो, कुछ भी, you should share your story with the world and then let the world decide whether they like your story or not. And that is an extremely important thing. When you become a founder, it becomes even more important. Because you are now not just representing you as a personal brand, but also your organization, your startup, your company. And the way you conduct yourself, the way you speak, the way you deal with people, the what things you do, say, all of that is going to have an impact on how people look at your brand and your startup as well. So it's very important for a founder to also think of personal branding as an investment. How did I do it? I started personal branding, if you may call that personal branding, for a very different reason. It was a Bharat baat. Long before personal branding in founders was even a thing. Which was right founder एक personal brand है. 2012 में कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. And at that time, I was running this company called Groupon, which eventually became TiE. And we were always looking for best startups because that's what startups do. We're looking for very high quality people. We were not paying the best salaries. We were not the biggest brand in the country. We were not the coolest place to work. So there had to be a way where we created some sort of excitement within people कि हम कौन हैं and क्या तुम्हें हमारे साथ काम करने में मजा आएगा. And I didn't want to go through the mail agencies, the Naukri.com, also the LinkedIn's of the world, or PR agencies and so. So the marketing team, I remember, made this suggestion कि आप feedback हो लेते हैं, confident हैं, Completely nice speaking. So why don't you start actively creating content online? Because that way you start appealing to people. So I started doing that. On LinkedIn, I know this platform called Koga. I don't know how people can go up it. Koga for released a time again, but aside pay, it was a great. There's a lot of Indians, especially ATs, are really wanted Koga. So I started creating content for LinkedIn on Koga for the sole purpose of attracting talent for my startup. And that became a thing. Now that was my job, to hire people. So it was not like a personal brand that they started to start karna. मेरा काम ही the personal brand के लिए था for the benefit of your industry to recruit the best talent. Whether it is to recruit Whether it is to create an employer brand, whether it is to create a consumer brand, whether it is to create a business brand, that is the metric of the founder. It is not कि concept छोड़ के Instagram पे रील बना रहे हैं, नाच रहे हैं और गा रहे हैं ये सब. It is part of the job to create that brand. So don't think of it as जब मेरा काम खत्म हो जाएगा तब मैं personal brand बनाऊँ. यदि आपका काम भी है, then you have to make time for life. Now how you do it is your choice. I am a very process-driven person. मुझे repetitions बहुत पसंद है life में. So I'm like, हर हफ्ते जब मैं नींद हो, छाव हो, बाहर आए, whatever the case may be, content तो जाती रहेगा. And I would usually devote half a day a week to just make that content. I still do that. All of my content in a week that will go is produced in just half a day. It takes half a day of my time. ऐसा लगता है कि मैं 24 घंटे सोशल मीडिया पर रहा हूँ, पर नहीं होता. I spend maximum half a day of a week on social media. My social media consumption is capped. मैं YouTube देखता ही नहीं, मैं काफी hypnotic मार. I don't watch YouTube. I don't barely go on LinkedIn. I spend most of my time on Twitter, Instagram कभी आने के लिए क्या है. I just like creating content and sharing, but I don't consume it as activity because I have no influence. So as a founder, whether you are already or you will become one, please recognize that holding or controlling your narrative is just as part of your job as anything else that you do, whether raising money, hiring, or building products and so on. Don't think of it outside of your job. The world will always have an opinion irrespective of what you're doing. If you're running fast, then people will say slow down. If you're slow, people will say faster. There will always be a point of view that will not be in agreement with how you want to live. I think the biggest challenge is when you're not convinced that the way you're living well is the right way of living. Because that is when a doubt emerges. So it's almost like if I told you your yellow hair looks awful on you. Like, कितने बंदे बाल हैं आपके, कितने पीले हैं, living must be there, right? But she is not flustered. Why? Because she knows कि तेरे पीले बाल नहीं. I don't have hair. I care enough what to get so on. There is zero doubt in your mind of who you are when it comes to a certain factual statement around you. But if I were to let you, इतने साल हो गए साल चला मेरे में, कहीं भी घुसी हुई नहीं है, तो मैं कुछ मजे ले रही हूँ, कुछ असर नहीं है, कोई एम्बिशन नहीं है, कुछ जज्बा-जहत नहीं है, कुछ जुनून नहीं है, जज्बा नहीं है. And you need to question whether you actually do the right thing or not. And that is the problem. The problem is not anyone else. Anyone else is just showing you a mirror. You don't want to see the mirror because you stare at what you will encounter. So this is the hard part right now. Drop that confusion, that doubt. Because something in your mind will get you one day that what you're doing is the right way of doing it. And until you don't have that clarity, it is so easy to trigger you because people will know exactly the pulse point that they need to activate to perturb you. And you will always then be a live wire. You don't want to be a live wire. Nobody should be a live wire. It should be like literally some power is in it. It doesn't matter. Money, don't want to focus. It's almost like this perpetual stage of Zen where you know what you're on, but you're so in control and aware of where you are and why you are where you are that nobody can say shit to you and to love you or agitate you. There are two things that I want to say. Number one, avoid discussing your idea with people. Not because it's rally, but because everyone can have their opinion and because they know you, that opinion will always be clear. क्योंकि हमारे दोस्त थे या तुम्हारे भाई बहन है तुम्हारे भाई ना तो अच्छी नहीं है हाँ कोई बुरा नहीं है दिन में आपको बिल्कुल ऐसा लग रहा है कि जल्दी बढ़िया आइडिया और बच्चे का इतना नहीं करना चाहिए थोड़ी सामने बोलती ये नहीं बुरा चीज अरे क्या कोशिश करो doesn't help then जाओ this one you are asking बच्ची what how है क्या मेरे बात हो वो पाको I'm so sorry पाको ये चीज है तेरे को बात तू है ये क्यों कर रहे हैं हाँ मजाक बना रहा है लोग टेंशन क्यों रहेंगे why would you want to do that that also doesn't happen. What helps is sharing the idea with somebody who has no idea about you or that idea itself. How do you find such feedback? So what I do is before a 2-week test and a little test. So think of the idea that you want to experiment with or figure out whether it has fit or not. Think of a domain name for that idea. It doesn't need to be the brand. It could be anything. Let's say the idea is you want to start an education product. So you'll be like, Ankur College and service, whatever. Doesn't matter. .com, book a link. They create a web page for that product as if that product is actually in line. So आप झूठ बोलेंगे, लेकिन ये सब झूठ बोलेंगे. You will create a web page and no more than one page up, which will be about the product or service that you actually want to sell to the world. उसके specifications क्या हैं, उसके features क्या हैं, उसके advantages क्या हैं, उसके comparison with other competitors, so on. Do a good job of that. And then run Insta ads for 2 weeks on that web page. They spend no more than 150 rupees a day. You don't have to spend more than that. For a 2-week period, for about 2,000 rupees or so, you will generate clicks. And something in the form should be what consumers are willing to give you to show interest. It would be, give us your mobile number to get more details. Give us your email and sign up for the launch. Click on this to show that you're interested. Whatever it is, something to the measure of interest. When you do that, objectively, you are reaching out to people who have no idea about you, no idea about this business. And they are just giving you organic, not organic, but paid clicks to figure out what it is. And then you go 3 metrics. At what cost did you generate a click? At what cost did you generate an interest? And what was the percentage to the total impressions that you were able to? If you do this for multiple areas, which are there in your head, you will instantly know which of the ideas has more strength, because people will give you that answer. You wouldn't have to find that yourself. You as a startup founder start something, it doesn't work out. For whatever reason, we are in your control. It's nothing to do with your capability. Economy, nature, weekly, regulation, whatever the case may be. But now you're starting all over again, because the root per head, that's what you know, that's how you think. And the almost entire world is against you. You got your job, you smart, you can get something predictable, why do you want to start all over again? And then the money over here, put the hearing, booking, all the sources of past that society keeps boosting us, all of that. These are live, real problems, and these are not something that you can just wish away. I'll give you a philosophical answer, and I'll give you a practical answer. So, philosophical answer is, next seen the movie 3 Idiots?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you have not seen the movie 3 Idiots? Anyone here? Did you all see the movie? Okay. So, you will remember the last scene for how there is Abba, right? And this is right after Abba nahi manenge, like literally the essential meme of all times. That scene is fascinating. And I don't know how you thought about that scene, but here is what the scene actually meant. That scene was not about Farhan convincing his Abba that he's going to call for $100. It wasn't about convincing. It was a very different conversation. It was the realization in Farhan's mind, he's the most important person in my life was actually my Abba. Because he did shit for me that nobody else did. Yeah, remember that conversation? कि मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता जो उन्होंने क्या बोला, मुझे याद है कि आपने अपने आप को गर्मी में सुला के मुझे ऐसी all those things. He understands that. He also knows that if he fails, he's probably the one who will be most disappointed. In him, maybe slightly whatever. So what Farhan is doing is he actually saying, I seek your permission to fail. I seek your permission to fail. मैं जानता हूँ कि अगर मैं wrongful बना, तो मैं अपने दोस्तों के पैसा नहीं पाऊंगा. मैं जानता हूँ कि मेरे पास बड़ी गड़ी नहीं हुई, शायद घर में देखने खुश होगा, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप मेरी खुशी है खुश हो. He is not asking permission to become a photographer. He's saying, I want to know कि अगर मेरे दिमाग में इसका फेल हो गया, I still will be your son, and I want to know that you will still love me as your son. That is the conversation. It is a very deep one. So my suggestion to you is, go back to the person that you believe you disappoint the most if you were to fail again, and have that conversation with you about it. Whosoever it is, it could be a woman, it could be a father, it could be a brother, it could be a friend. Have that conversation. See, I don't know whether this will win or not. I don't know whether this will succeed or not, but I need to know is how will he get on when he clear out. I will still be the same one chip out that I naturally be. Because you give me that confidence, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. कि अब बारी के पीछे ले लो कि वो भाई मेरे को क्या होता है कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, वजह से आपकी सोच से बाहर until you don't have that conversation of हमेशा करनी चाहिए. Chartered as a personality glamorize funding. It almost feels like the way it is funding. ये अगर पैसे नहीं गए तो सफल हो गए. There you go. That's the start. It's like you know that someone getting a home loan. अरे वाह, करके क्यों रे शाबाश ये लेकिन amazing हो रहा है भाई को कितना मिल होता है. Loan sanction होती है. Loan sanction होती है. कितनी मुश्किल होती है कोई बड़ी नहीं है और we have this sensitive pleasure around getting somebody's money that we feel we didn't deserve or was never ours. But here's what happens when you raise money. You need to think about this very carefully. You are what's called a private company. It's not a public company. That means it's not listed on the stock market or anything. The investor is putting in money not because they love you, not because they love your business. They are giving the money because they are in the business of entering and exiting businesses. That's what they are in the business of. An investor is not in the business of supporting startups or entrepreneurs. They are in the business of entering and exiting businesses. That's their fiduciary responsibility. That they have promised people that they've raised money from. That means if they enter your business, they will have to exit your business. But how does one exit a private business? क्योंकि ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपके stocks कोई और ज़ेरोधा पे जाके ग्रो पे कैपिटल नहीं चलता है. It's a private company. It's not a publicly listed company. So the only way that an investor exits your startup is if you do go for an IPO, which is a very rare event. बहुत कम startups में बात आती है. Or a more frequent one is that they are able to get some other investor to invest in your startup at a final valuation. That means when you are raising money, you are agreeing to raise money for the rest of your life. It is not going to be high, but as I said, आप मुझे कर सकते हैं. Because the investor who's putting the money needs an exit. So they will want you to keep raising money so that they keep giving an exit and make returns on their money. So the question is not whether you should raise venture capital or not, Sui. The question is, do you want to keep raising money for the rest of your startup existence? Then that may be something you are okay with. But I would argue there will be enough people who don't want to do this. मुझे अपने terms के business sound. I don't want to be a series of somebody's call. I don't want to be constantly trying to grow. Maybe if things are not working out, I will want to slow down. Maybe if things don't work out, I want to shut down this business. Maybe if things don't work out, I don't want to have this big office or these many people. Maybe if things don't work out, I want to just make it for a lifestyle business and divert that money to some other business. All of that flexibility exists if you are a start business, but it doesn't exist if you are a venture capital business, because then somebody is sponsoring your existence. And you can't say no to that irrespective of how small that size is. It's almost like you get your money, even though the family owns more than 50% of your shares, can't wonder like how much you're doing. It doesn't work that way. Doing a pass or they are responsible to their shareholders. They can't deny that. They can't just randomly do things as per their whim and fancy. They are a fiduciary responsibility to be accountable to their shareholders. So the question is not so much of money or not, because you're profitable. I'm assuming you don't need money. It's AI driven, so I think you should not need money. If you need a lot of money, there's something wrong, and AI driven is clearly just a stand. If you don't need money, and then you are happy with what you're doing, I have you do this money. And live your freedom, enjoy it, do whatever you want to do with that money, with another startup, continue investing in here, do it with God, whatever the choice is. But you're not unstable to somebody. If you do this money, great. If it goes up to you, you may become a unicorn, you may become a poster in the green, put some whatever. But it will come at a cost that you have to personally answer. But it will not necessarily be an easy thing. My biggest challenge just in with 16 years that I've been startups is people. I call it a challenge not because I don't know how to deal with people, but because at all points of time, people have been either the reason for success or the reason for failure. Because ultimately, every business boils down to people. Every goal boils down to people. How do you work with people? How do you recruit people? How do you inspire them, encourage them to do their best? How do you bring them together? And for me, that is clearly the case. Product is a function of people. Marketing is a function of people. Finance is a function of people. Everything that happens in an organization is ultimately driven by people and not by AI, as you like to be used to. And if you find the right set of business, it is incredible how easy that journey becomes, irrespective of what the financial success of that startup may be or not be. Because then you just enjoy work. You just enjoy solving that problem. And you know, even if it did amount to anything, you wouldn't have it any other way, and you wouldn't certainly work with assholes that you would hate working with every day and crib about your job, while at the same time try to make the startup work. So the most challenging, the hardest thing in a startup for that matter is how you deal with people. And that's why I love doing it. Think like you will. Decent job. हमारे देश में फेलियर को लेके दो अप्रोचेस हैं. Either of which are a good approach. Approach number one, हारना ही नहीं. कुछ भी करना है, हारना नहीं. हार नहीं सकते. It's like चलते इंडिया, the women's team calling back कि हमें बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, and the caretaker is like जीत के हारना नहीं है, हारना नहीं है. Like ये हमारे खून में हमारे जहन तक बस जाता है that if you fail, there is something wrong with it. The second approach is even worse, which is अगर हार गए तो कोई बात नहीं, जल्दी जल्दी आगे बढ़ो. Like बड़े-बड़े देशों में छोटी-छोटी आगे बढ़ो, कोई बात नहीं होता है. We don't give time to process what we're doing. And neither of these two approaches is the right approach. Because if you speak to anybody and you're only 18, but you're so much wiser than your age already, for all those who have lived life long enough, I'm 44, so I can certainly vouch for that. Is मेरा लाइफ कोई एक शख्स आपको नहीं मिलेगा, कोई भी लाइफ की बिना हार में जीने. Nobody else, absolutely no one. So it's crazy that if the only way to win is to learn from your mistakes, we still look at failing as such a negative thing. So here is my advice to you. The biggest reason why we fail and we fear failing is because हारने के बाद होता है. It is not the failure itself. You know it's not the failure itself. You're only 18. Let's say if God forbid you were not to succeed, you will have such an incredible life for you कि आप और सबके फिर से जब चलेंगे, जीतेंगे और बहुत सफलता पाएंगे. But in that moment when you create, your only thought will be, लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? मेरे बाबा मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? मेरे भाई मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? मेरे दोस्त मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? समाज मेरे बारे में क्या सोच रहा है? How am I being looked at? So when you walk, there is this guilty conscience and you will nobody even cares about you. But you are thinking सब मुझे देख के गाना सब मुझे देख के बोलने बोला वो देखो वो जा है जिसको 16 साल की उम्र में जब मेरे खान नहीं कब हम पढ़ाई वढ़ाई को खान नहीं दिया जेई या लेबर तो लोग फकरी बिजली होती बिजली यहाँ पे को लोगों की जरूरत बता दी और अपनी जिंदगी तो सफल देखे दे I get so relate to what you went I get so relate what you went I saw the word of you will have to stand in front of the mirror bro and be like I don't care or flying fuck about the new place I just don't क्योंकि ये मेरी जिंदगी है मैं हाथ भरूंगा ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता कि मैं बिना हारे में जीत जाऊं लेकिन जब भी मैं हारूंगा उससे सीखूंगा और वो सीख से बढ़कर मैं आगे कुछ और नया करूंगा and that has to be your goal it's not going to come easy it's very easy for me to stand here and tell you that मैंने भी यही तो जब करी है इसी से सीखा है so I'm going to tell you that the sooner you experience a setback and you recover from it the more grateful you should be that you're successful through that time. Because that will set you up. It will set you up. When you raise a lot of money, it is of course a responsible position to be. You can't be flippant about it. But don't feel the pressure of being fast with. आपको पैसे तेजी से खर्च करने के लिए नहीं दिए हुए हैं, अच्छे से खर्च करने के लिए। लेकिन आपकी उम्र में आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि आपको जल्दी सक्सेस अफोर्ड करना। It's not your fault. It is just because 18 साल हो गए। So 1 year for you is a material part of your life. 1 year for me is like 2% of your life. It's like 6% of your life. So what are the magnitude difference in how you will think about the same unit of time? So a person is not any MVP parameters and failure. Then because he yesterday recognized as a 7 to 10 year cycle, depending on who you raised it from, अगर institutional investor है, वो जानते हैं कि क्या मतलब है. Great. So 7 to 10 year cycle, and I'll put very good news to the beginning. Growth is a capital intensive, or research oriented, or highly regulated industry. You cannot speed up the progress that you desire. It will take its time. Be patient. Because if you do it slowly, you will get that result. But if you try and pass it up in some way, you are bound to make mistakes, and then that failure is likely to demolish you with that recycling. So be patient and recognize you are bound to fail. Not here, just someday in life. But that will be the reason why you succeed later on, because you will process that and learn from it. Three things that have helped me the most. Number one, be really slow and deliberately hiring. Super slow and super conscious of who you are working with and why. So the process that I followed for hiring, which I started nearly 10 years back, is a very unique process. I'm extremely proud of it. It works extremely well for me. Which is कि हम अलग तक रेज्यूमे को देखते भी नहीं हैं। हमें फर्क नहीं करता कि आपने कहाँ पढ़ा है, आपने कहाँ किया है, आपको कितनी प्रमोशन मिली है, क्लास 6 में आपने कौन सा यूपी से कॉन्टेस्ट जीता था, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। We are completely centered on who you are as an individual. So we will ask you questions that are about you as an individual. So everybody who applies, they get a set of 20 questions. And those 20 questions have nothing to do with their work. To give you a few examples, the question could be, pick between money and power. Pick between speed and perfection. How often do you get angry? Why do you get angry? How often do you lose patience? Why do you lose patience? What's the one thing you would do if you did care about what the world thinks of you? These questions. And it's fascinating how much you get to know about that person through the answers of these 20 questions. People can fake 20 questions to response. They can fake one or two, but not the consistency with them. तो इससे हमें स्मेल्टर्स मिलता है कि क्या ये इंसान के साथ आपस में बताना चाहिए। Do we work with such a person? Do we align with the thoughts of that person? Then we send them an EQ test. Then we send them a test around the work that they will do. Nothing to do with what they have done in the past. And it's starting thinking about when you build the resume first. By that time, we have such a great degree of awareness of how good the person is that we have already made our brain even what we did on. But this is a slow process. It takes time. So that's number one. Number two, when they come on board, be super clear कि उनको करना क्या है, and make it very evident for them कि वो उस काम को इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं. So there has to be zero to do. Everything needs to be accountable. And because art was goals, it has to be. So you cannot be like आपका काम इस महीने अच्छा है. It has to be intensely clear to them at any point of time how well they are doing without you even dealing with people. And then number three, align all of the incentives to that performance. There should be no ambiguity what is being rewarded. So if you value being kindly, the incentive has to reward kindliness. If you value quality, the incentive has to align with quality. If you value honesty, the incentive has to align with honesty. If you value technical knowledge, the incentive has to align with technical knowledge. Whatever the case is. Because the biggest mistake that people make is बोलते तो हैं कि कोई बहुत चाहिए, लेकिन incentive किसी और को नहीं मिलता. And that just fails. So these three things: hiring, performance, and then incentives. That will ensure that people are almost always partner. Then first January को हम में से बहुत सारे लोग एक वजह लेते हैं कि इस साल तो हम फिट होती ही रहेंगे, वजन घटाती ही रहेंगे, तो जिम की मेंबरशिप, सारे प्लान, पल्ट फिट सब कुछ शुरू। So I started this new gym and I wanted to give you a free membership of that. But this gym is a very unique gym. It has 3 unique features. Number 1, the gym has no mirrors. अमीर की कोई भी शीशा नहीं है, आप अपने आप को देख नहीं सकते, सिर्फ दीवारें हैं। पीछे का कोड, इस जिम में कोई भी मेजरिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट नहीं है, तो आप वेट स्केल पे अपना वेट नहीं मेजर कर सकते, इस स्टेप से आपका वेस्ट, आपकी चेस्ट, बाइसेप कुछ मेजर नहीं हो सकता। एंड फीचर नंबर 3 which I believe is the most unique feature, कि जब आप उस जिम में जाएंगे तो वहां और कोई भी नहीं होगा। It's a completely isolated experience, nobody there, not even a player. Now imagine you start going to this gym, then you go there for 2 weeks. Then I can tell you with conviction that it is working out for you. I bet that you will not want to go to this gym for a very long time. Most of us will not want to go to this gym. And here's the reason why. Even though we know that the gym is working for us, the reason why we don't want to go to this gym is because it doesn't give you the most important thing that we as humans really want: feedback, measurement, a sense of progress. हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं है शीशे में देखेंगे if we are getting fit, हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं है इंस्टे पे आके if we are training for losing inches, हमें कोई इंसान भी नहीं बोल रहा है कि आज तू जिम आ रहा है, आज फिट लग रहा है। There is no feedback at all. There is no sense of progress. So even when there is progress, a lack of sense of progress kills the progress. And that's the same thing in life. One thing that you should remember, Harsh, जिंदगी में आप जो भी करेंगे, आपको कभी भी नहीं पता चलेगा कि वो सही है नहीं गलत। जिंदगी और नहीं पता चलेगा। फिर इससे पहले बिल्कुल नहीं पता चल सकता। आप लोगों से पूछ लीजिए, लोग आपको 10 करोड़ औरतें नंबर देंगे, इजीली की सारी बातें बता देंगे, लेकिन उससे तब भी पता नहीं चलेगा कि वो सही है या गलत। करने के बाद ही पता चलता है। And a lot of us think that it is too late, but I don't think so. I think what all of you, particularly people in this stage, ought to do is to have a progress measurement of your life. It doesn't matter कि आप क्या कर रहे हो और बोलो succeed या successful होने वाला है या नहीं, because this is not the only thing you will do in your life growth. What matters more is, are you moving forward in the direction that you should? So if you want to do a yearly recap of your life, each साल पहले हर्ष पब्लिक स्पीकिंग करने से पढ़ती थी, लोगों से बात करने से डरता था, पैसे नहीं कमा रहा था, कोई आइडिया नहीं था कि बिजनेस करना क्या होता है, सिर्फ कहता था कि जेई करने से या नीट करने से या सीए करने से ही सक्सेसफुल बनना। I can ask a question with confidence in front of people. I am earning well. I am working in a startup. I'm engaging with strangers on a daily basis and making sure I am a lot more confident about what I can do. But I'm still not sure what I should do. And then go and check that a year from you. You'll be shocked at how much you have progressed in a year and you don't even feel it. It's like हम सब के साथ ये हुआ है। हम बचपन में 11-12 साल की उम्र में शादी में गए और फिर एक लड़की आई, कितना बड़ा हो गया है, मेरे लड़की अब क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे, क्योंकि हमारे लिए तो हम रोज ही जी रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई अगर हमें 4-5 साल बाद देखता है, they see this visible difference. That's the same thing you have to do for yourself. You have to look at yourself a year back, like कितना बड़ा हो गया, because if you know that, it doesn't matter what you do, your life will sort itself. I can convince you that your life will sort itself. But if you're not progressing, if you're exactly the way you were last year, good luck. And then nothing can save you. चाहे वो सबसे बढ़िया जॉब हो, सबसे ज्यादा सैलरी वाली हो, आप ज़रूर खाना शुरू कर चुके हो. And now it is a deteriorating problem. How much time do you spend every day when scrolling random shit? Okay, more than 5 hours? More than 5 hours? Okay, some of you 3 to 5 hours? 3 to 5 hours? Sab jhoot. Sab jhoot. 1 to 3 hours? 1 to 3 hours? Okay, less than an hour? Less than an hour scrolling? Okay, great. इतना भी नहीं होता. थोड़ा सा ठीक है. Okay, fair enough. This is all right or wrong. This is why I asked you the question: is it coming in your way of hybridding your products? A few facts that you should be aware of. I'm not speaking to players, I'm speaking to everyone. These apps, they are made by the world's finest engineers and psychologists. The world's finest. They understand the human mind and human motivation better than anybody else collectively on this planet. So you feel that you have the motivation or the self-control to resist watching Instagram before you go to bed, God bless you. You cannot fight the collective power of the finest individuals on earth whose only 24/7 job is to make you addicted to these apps. The only way you fight it is to kill it, not to resist it. How do you kill it? There are multiple ways. The strongest suggestion is delete the app. And a lot of people have done that in the past. When I say this, people are like, oh, don't say you could delete the app. He'll give you another situation. Second is put time blockers. Just put time blockers. So cap the time that you spend on every app. It is capped for me. All of my social media content is capped to 1 hour per day. But you will like, अरे वो जब एक घंटा हो जाता है, वो बोलते हैं extend 5 minutes, extend 15 minutes, extend to retire. It's so easy. पर इतना में this for mama. No. So next step, there will be a pin that you can put to block the time that you have to insert to unlock it. You will be like, मुझे ही पता है. नहीं, यही कहानी में ट्विस्ट होगी. वो पिन आप अपने किसी दोस्त या फैमिली मेंबर से बनवाएंगे, खुद नहीं. Then that means जब आपका अब खत्म हो जाएगा, तो आपको उस इंसान से भी मांगनी पड़ेगी to give you that pin because you are under that withdrawal. Most likely you will not, and of course, with emergency you can. But that is, I kid you not, the only way to fight this. There is no person on earth who can resist the temptation of what these apps do. You only have to kill it from the absolute problem than the bug itself. And if you really care about being productive, then this is one step you have to take. Now, what do I mean by productivity? Productivity is not living a dry life कि कुछ entertainment ही नहीं है, कुछ मजा ही नहीं है, कुछ हंसी मजाक ही नहीं है, जिंदगी को सिर्फ पढ़ रहे हैं, सिर्फ घिस रहे हैं, सिर्फ काम ही किए जा रहे हैं. Productive means कि जो कुछ भी आपने अपने दिन के लिए प्लान किया था, आप उसको बिना कॉम्प्रोमाइज करे हुए उस दिन को खत्म कर पाए. That is being productive. Productive doesn't mean that you have to be the rock star version of yourself. It simply means whatever you promised yourself in a day, you are able to accomplish that. Because the biggest thing that happens is, अगर हम उनसे किए हुए वादे नहीं आते हैं, we lose respect for our own selves. हम खुद की कदर नहीं करते हैं. So we will never expect somebody else to respect us. If we don't fulfill the promise that we made, कल मैं ये खत्म करूँगी, कल मैं ये काम खत्म करूँगा. And if you go in and doing that, you're like, मैं उनकी बातें नहीं मानता हूँ, वो भी अच्छे बनेंगे. And that is where your self-respect goes to us. So it's very important that you make promises to yourself that you keep. You don't go off on those promises. That is simply productivity. It is not each, oh my God, every hour is adopted work. It is simply getting everything that you want or wish to get done and then doing whatever you want. Whatever you want. Honestly, that you be wicked, at least they can be wicked. Doesn't work. Number two, what is that mindset? The mindset is not a switch. The mindset is a habit. जितना आपकी करेंगे प्रियांशी, उतनी ही आपकी आदत बन जाएगी ऐसे जीने की. And that is how very important. So if you put yourself in the habit of accomplishing everything that you had set out to do for the day, that will become who you become. But if you keep postponing those promises and spending your time in it slowly, that is who you're going to become. The beauty is we become what we do repeatedly. कि हम रोज प्लेन करते हैं तो हम दुनिया की सबसे बेस्ट प्लेन बन जाएंगे। अगर हम रोज अच्छे से खाते हैं तो दुनिया की सबसे बेस्ट डाइट डिस्क्रिप्शन और अकाउंटेबिलिटी पार्टनर बन जाएंगे। अगर हम रोज लोगों की खाइयां देखते हैं तो हम दुनिया में सबसे बेस्ट बुराई करने वाले इंसान बन जाएंगे। अगर हम हर चीज में ऑप्टिमिस्टिकली देखते हैं तो हम दुनिया की सबसे बेस्ट अकाउंट्स बन जाएंगे। The question is, what do you do repeatedly? And mindset is nothing but an outcome to your habits. It is not an input to your life. यदि वही पहले mindset बनता है और फिर जिंदगी आती है, जिंदगी से आपका mindset है। तो जब आप सही जिंदगी and सही choices लेंगे, the mindset will automatically should be affected.